All right, you guys ready? Cody, did you watch the Raw after WrestleMania?
Yes, I did.
All right, so it opens up with Cody. Got a good pop. He said everyone thinks the decision to return to WWE is difficult. He said it was not. It was simple, really. The star has left him in the dust. The star that left him in the dust. He signed a multi-year deal, he said. A man often finds his destiny in the path he takes to avoid it. He pointed to the fans of the big screen. There's an image of his dad holding up the WWE Championship belt in 1977. Rhodes got emotional and said that his father was his hero. A Dusty chant broke out. Rhodes said that the title belt that Dusty was holding in this photo eventually became the belt that Hulk Hogan got his hands on and the fans booed. Cody mentioned The Undertaker, Shawn, Triple H too. He called telling his father he didn't know he was a champion like Hulk Hogan. Cody said his father looked at him with the same eyes that his daughter has and told him that he won the match, but because he won by countout, he did not take home the championship belt. Cody said that at 8 years old, he knew that he needed to win the championship belt and then bestow it upon his father and tell him that no one could take it away from him now. Cody said that unfortunately that dream died, and he said that opportunity passed, or did it, he asked. Rhodes said he couldn't physically put it in his father's hand, but he could put it around the waist of the American Nightmare. He said his intentions were clear, and he's standing before the fans finally ready, and he said he's going to do it. He said he will do it for the fans, himself, his family, and for his father. Seth comes down the ring, looked at him, smiled, and shook his hand and said, "Welcome home." That was weird to me, honestly. I thought this was a ground. I think I said I thought this was groundwork for a heel character. To be honest with you, I don't know. I just think I think Cody doing that character that we talked about from Amazon Prime, where he's the insincere babyface.
Yeah.
Bro, nobody's doing that. I think he can do it because he's going to start saying stuff in these promos that are going to turn the fans off.
Remember, he didn't want to be heel in AEW. He wanted to continue.
I'm aware of that.
I mean, so
but
it's not
in
something
this company,
that
if he starts getting booed,
yeah.
I mean, they're like, I don't know. I just think I don't know. Well, Konnan, what'd you think of this? It's a good promo. It was a good promo.
He got a great reaction. People really liked him coming back. There were no boos, which is good. I absolutely hate his entrance song. Sounds just like something you'd hear in Impact. Just very generic.
Right.
He used it in
like
Impact.
Like listen to Adam Cole's. I like that one. Whatever the it is. That's a good intro.
Right.
And here's a problem. Like great. He did one of those old school Cody promos that he did when he first started AEW, like when he did the one with his brother, which was great. And he was hitting great home runs. He was the best promo man in the business until he did that "I Have a Dream" speech and the anti-UK speech and all that. But here's a problem that I have with Cody. Cody, to me, and I don't know if you get this when you look at him, Disco. Cody, to me, when you look at him, he looks like a used car salesman and like a TV evangelist and a politician all rolled up into one.
Like, I'm telling you, insincere.
He looks like the most disingenuous guy that has been built. Fake smile, the blonde hair.
Right.
Like
he's like a parody of all the things that people that you think are just bad actors. Right? that are like they're not sincere people. He looks. Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you see the same thing I do.
Right.
I see a guy that is visually and the way he speaks, based on what all he's going to do is craft what comes out of his mouth. He is a very easily not likable guy.
Right.
He's good looking. He speaks. It's like everything that like a wrestling fan would be like upset about in another performer, or the performance. He checks all the boxes.
Right.
So
yeah.
So next was the what was it?
Let me say
next
one
is a
thing.
tag.
I want to make this point because this is very important. I've noticed that the fans, because this was the Raw after WrestleMania.
Right.
Like we've seen in previous years, they really didn't hijack the show and beat because I think all those fans are in AEW right now. I think they have the fans that actually like the product now. Yeah.
No, I'll tell you exactly what the deal is. The WWE for years, WrestleMania was an international event, and these people would fly over. Bro, the English fans, they just love to sing and chant and stuff. The English fans would be at the show, and they drive that whole narrative. Right. Like, they'd be very vocal at the show. They're singing a lot. They're creating shit. They're chanting, and everybody's catching on. That's the presence, not having the presence of that English,
besides,
UK crowd.
But besides that, there were times when it wasn't Raw, people would hijack the show, CM Punk and chants like that. I just feel that lately, like even when Priest was in there and he called them losers, and the fans were like, "Yeah, we're losers, and like they were having fun."
The tribalism of wrestling today has created the deal where this is AEW fans versus the WWE fans. So, bro, they only go to the shows of the organization that they're promoting. Like the AEW fans are not going to the WWE shows and doing the chants. The WWE fans are not going to AEW shows and doing it. They're like going to. It's like that. That's what's been created here. They're the fans of the specific brand. Do you think there's something to that?
Yep.
Yeah. Sasha and Naomi defending against Ripley and Liv in their first title defense. Ripley picked a Morgan, tossed her Banks, who rolled out of the way. Naomi cleared Ripley from the ring, and Naomi tagged in, and then she and Banks hit the assisted codebreaker move on Morgan. They used to win the title on Sunday, and they covered her for the win. And Rhea Ripley was not happy about this, and she looked frustrated and left the ring without her after she tried to apologize. It looked like so go figure. Two babyface. It's like a tag team that does not last because they can't get along. Where have you seen that story before, right? You got any comment on this?
It was all right. Naomi and Ripley in there together looked pretty good, and so did Banks and Morgan. But it was all right. It was nothing special.
So Owens comes to the ring, says he had a bad back that he suffered while lifting a lot of weights at the gym the day before.
He was absolutely great here.
Yeah. He said he should have went home. Basically, it's this good heel promo. He just made excuses for losing. Okay. So then Elias comes out with a completely different boots and trunks and no beard or nothing, right? Owens thought he recognized him as Elias. However, Elias is not actually Elias. He's Elias' younger brother, Ezekiel. Owens told him to stop lying and said he hates liars. Ezekiel told Owens that he must hate himself because he's a liar, and he got stunned on Saturday. Owens gave him 10 seconds to get out of his ring or else, and Owens counted down, and Ezekiel didn't flinch. Owens simply left the ring, and that was it.
This is what was weird about this, because you talk about the Cody Seth things. Why are they shaking hands? Okay. And that was weird. They just shook hands and it ended. And then here Ezekiel comes in and Kevin Owens just walks out. Another weird ending.
Right. We're weird out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me say this. Tell me if this would be like if this is not I mean, you could do this angle with this guy, obviously, because they're doing something similar. You could have Elias. He comes out and plays his guitar. He's got the beard and everything and all that. But the next week, Ezekiel is out there. But Ezekiel's like a religious fanatic. Right. Like, what if he does a split personality character here with like one's the rocker, boozer, drinker guy, partier and stuff, and the other guy's a religious fanatic.
Yeah, or hippie. Yeah.
Or yeah, right. You could do definitely because the contrast of the look is tremendous.
Yeah, you could.
He looked completely different, but he looked like he could be a completely different character too.
Right.
So. Let me see. Miz versus Dominic. Poor Dominic loses in 30 seconds.
Then gets beat up by Ravi or whatever the guy's name is.
Yeah. So this was basically just the thing. So then Veer comes out. Miz rolls out of the ring and veered in the ring and kicked Dom. And Ray tried to fight him, but Veer put him down the clothesline. Side slam. He put Dom on what Smith called a cervical clutch, and Dom tapped her.
Bro, let me tell you, here was the problem with this. This guy Zier, whatever.
Veer.
Yeah, Veer. When you're debuting like he is out of nowhere, and you're beating up, Dominic and Ray, especially Ray, who's a legend, you have to make an impact, and that to me was not impactful. It was just he came in, he actually gave him a clothesline while he was on one knee to Ray, which was actually hilarious. And then he put the guy in some sort of side camel clutch. Dominic, I don't know what the that was. He should just beat the out of both of them if that's what they were going to do, because I guess he's wrestling Ray next week, and really made an impact and tore up. And I just feel when this was over, he didn't make an impact.
No, not at all. And let me tell you, and this is to me, okay, let's book this. All right. You've been saying for months, Veer is Veer's coming. Veer's coming. It's overhype, right? In fact, April 4th, right? For all the build-up, this is just a weird way to do this.
Right. Like
he shows up, attacks Dom. It's like, why on earth? Like you're showing up. Like everybody's been talking about. Like here's your thing. I mean, honestly, wouldn't I want you to come out and maybe hear what you have to say instead of you're what do you got beef with Dominic Mysterio?
Or if you're gonna
right, what I'm saying? It's a very weird, strange way to do this. I would have had him come out there and this is off the top of my head. Okay, if you want to make like if you want to introduce a guy, but if you want to get the same thing out of him, like show this guy's a badass and he can beat people up.
Yeah.
Is what if this guy Veer, because it's been kind of comical a little bit the every week, like people are kind of making fun of this Veer guy debuting.
Right.
Like they've been laughing about it, stuff. And then you saw these, like Sean Ross Sapp was making sexual innuendo jokes and stuff and everything during it. It was so stupid, right? What if he just came out, grabbed the mic, stood in the ring, didn't say anything for like 2 minutes, and just said, "This is my yard now."
Right.
Or this Veer's yard now, right? And just leaves the ring. And you go backstage and people are laughing. Like, you get a guy like Austin there, "Oh, this is your yard? Bro, you just got here." Like, they're laughing at him and they just beat some out of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, what if he came out and said, like, "This is my yard now." And everybody's kind of like, "Who the is this guy?" And he just
if you're gonna make an impact, make an impact. You know, like
impact.
If he should have.
That would have been an impact. Think about that.
Had a shot. You should have had a shot of guys laid on the floor and him walking from the dressing room to the ring. What the just happened here? This guy is breaking people and he's pushing security aside and he goes in there, puts Dominic through a table. Does something to Ray, throws the stairs on him, rips his mask up and goes, Veer is here, or whatever the he would say, but that would just had no impact.
Bro, look at how they booked the debut of Cross in NXT. The build up and the way it's just like, bro, he came across as a big time character right off the bat.
Right, because he beat him up backstage.
And you guys had basic booking 101 the way to do it with this guy.
Right.
He just built, but it's like, oh, whatever. I don't know. Very, very flat in my opinion.
Yeah.
Belair stood in the ring and thanked the fans for supporting her. She moved her shades and showed a black eye from an errant kick she got. Belair said the fans deserve better than Lynn. She said she'll be the best champion she can be and said she knows what it's like to have her title taken away, so she never wants to lose it again. She said it's different after Saturday. She said she's better. Belair said Lynn should consider taking downtime to figure out who she is without the title. Belair said she knows who she is. She's the Raw Women's Champion. She helped the title belt and some pyro went off the stage. So there's another segment that it's almost unbelievable how there's such a lack of urgency in the wrestling shows these days.
Yeah.
Like they act like they're doing 10 million people a week, and it's like guys, you gotta
Well, here's the thing.
Go ahead.
The people really like her a lot. She's gotten better on the mic, but she kept referring that she wrestled with one eye. No, you didn't wrestle with one eye. You wrestled with a black eye. That's it.
Right. Yeah. So we go to a package for the NXT Championship thing. An ad for SmackDown at the beginning of the commercials on the show were excellent.
Yeah, that goes without saying. Their packages were incredible. Right. Bro, the first one they did to open up the show, which was like 5 minutes long, was incredible with the whole WrestleMania recap. I
fast-forwarded through the show. I want to go back and watch this match because I missed it. But Braun Breaker defeated Dolph in 10 minutes and 45 seconds, which is a decent amount of time that this guy had to put in.
Okay, I'd never really seen Breaker wrestle. I only seen him do promos.
I still haven't seen it yet. I'm going to watch it tonight at work.
Yeah, he's good, very athletic. He actually did a tope with a flip over the third rope.
Right.
But he does power moves, and he does the Steiner line. And, there's something there, Yeah. And Ziggler's just such a great underrated worker. I'm glad that he has that belt.
Yeah, MVP stood in the ring, was introduced by the announcer and said actions speak louder than words. And the actions Bobby Lashley spoke volumes of WrestleMania. And MVP introduced Lashley, who was cheered by the live crowd. Lashley spoke about his win over Omos. He said he knew that he could beat him if he made a mistake. Omos made his entrance and entered the ring and said he wanted his rematch and calls Lashley's win a fluke. MVP relayed almost request for a match to the live crowd as Lashley almost ironed one another up. MVP hit Lashley from behind, and Omos held Lashley while MVP slapped him. "You don't need me, huh?" MVP said. Omos worked over Lashley with elbows in the corner, and MVP hit Lashley with a Yakuza kick, and Omos performed his finisher on Lashley. Okay. So now it's MVP.
Let me just
Omos.
say a couple things. I think it's hilarious that Omos, when he's beating up Lashley, is trying to sound like a monster. Roar, roar. He's like roaring.
Right.
I'm like, all right, dude, this is 2022, dude.
Right.
So that's number one. Number two, Almost being with Lashley is going to help him a lot because he's going to have somebody that can speak for him and probably teach him the business because MVP knows how to get over. And I also thought the two things MVP did to Lashley looked way better than everything Almost did. Bro, Lashley, MVP clocked Lashley in the back, and then he hit him with that mafia kick in the corner. That looked really good. That looked better than Almost's offense. He's just very unintimidating, like I've said before.
Okay, so this next segment started off and I was like literally just getting ready to fast forward this, and I love the way this ended.
Right.
Zelina delivered a promo and blamed. Well, first of all, backstage, Morgan approaches Ripley and asks what happened, and this is so weird. Ripley said she was sorry and added that she convinced Adam Pearce to give them a tag title shot. How stupid is Adam Pearce? Bro, they just
lost. Right, and they lost at WrestleMania.
It's like, how did you the funniest thing is, we should show a security, if they say that, they should show a security camera shot of him making out with her.
Right.
Or like her like making advances towards him and stuff. It's like, how on earth would anybody
right.
Right, you know? Right. All right. So next is okay, so this is great. I thought this was great. Zelina delivers a promo and blames Carmella for losing tag titles the night before. This was cringeworthy, as it was, because her promos are. This was goofy, right?
Yeah. Then
Zelina
she puts
said
over
He's
her boyfriend's
a fool
hot,
for marrying her. However, he's a very handsome man, Zelina said. Carmella ripped the mic away from her and informed Zelina she wouldn't be wanted for bridesmaids, and Carmella and Zelina could be her flower girl instead. So Zelina punches her. And like she oversells it and goes to ringside where Gray's like comforts her and they started making out. Bro, I don't know why I was so entertained by this, but this was very entertaining to me.
Yeah, I thought it was hokey and stupid. I just thought that okay,
but it was so hokey and stupid that at the end, they're making out.
And then last week they also had 4 people making out in the middle of the ring, and then on NXT they had something very similar. And I don't know if it's some nerd writer or somebody getting his rocks off, having people, kiss, or they want to have more sex on a sexier show.
Bro, when you make out, if you're making out with a girl you're dating for real, you have to make out. You can't make it look like you don't. So they did that. I thought that was
okay.
Good.
They did. That was all right. I'm just saying it looked hokey. I mean, it just out of nowhere. Why are they kissing?
I could see their gimmick where they're like they wrestle. She comes to ringside, slides out the ring, they make out. She goes. I mean, who's doing that? Nobody's doing that, bro. At least we're having a show here where guys are like they're trying to.
Yeah, that's cool.
Have sex with the girls.
That's cool. I like that part, but I just thought this was hokey, like just a gratuitous thing thrown in there for I don't know. Yeah, but go ahead.
This definitely did more for Carmella than it did for Zelina. Okay, backstage, the Usos spoke while standing behind Austin Theory. They said they won at WrestleMania, unlike some people. They also goaded him about losing to an NFL Punk, and Theory said he had him beat, but McAfee got lucky. Theory said Mr. McMahon never makes a mistake.
Is this the one with the Usos in the background?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This was great.
Yeah, Theory said Mr. McMahon never makes a mistake and claimed to be the best investment that Vince ever made. And Theory said Finn Balor might as well be McAfee because he's going to catch some rounds. When Theory walked away, the Usos shook hands and smiled because their plan to motivate Theory was successful. You like this, huh?
I like this a lot.
I didn't see this, so I'm reading it. I like Theory too. He's from his finisher is called the ATL. He's from Atlanta.
Yeah, and he has a little bit of swag because he was like A-Town down. And
if I could somehow get him, if I could get to him, if he could use the words a good old-fashioned Marietta Tushy kicking in a promo, I would just pop huge for that. So would you.
Right.
Yeah, actually, he should do that. He should start saying that in his promos. He's from the ATL. Hey, you're going to get a good old-fashioned, Marietta Tushy kicking. Tushy kicking. Going to kick you right in the tush. Right. Finn and Orton Riddle against Theory and the Usos, and basically they're giving Theory a pretty decent push.
Yeah, they are.
He's the one, he goes over in this, and he leaves. And like I said, when he was in, it's funny because they were making him in NXT. You could tell he was a good worker for a good-looking young kid, but they weren't letting him beat anybody. Remember, he was doing the losing streak and stuff and all that. And it's like now they bring him to Raw. Now they're having to beat all the Raw talent.
Oh, let me say something about the match because I forgot to say this. This match was very good, and again, and we always put this over. That ending sequence was great.
Yeah, they just nail the finishes every single time. Is perfect.
Yeah. That's all. One guy hit one guy with a finish, boom. Then the other guy came in, hit him with a finish, boom. Then the other guy came in, boom. It was like boom, 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 and then the finish. It was very well done.
Right. Yeah, they're very structured and professional when they do it. Brothers, there is a difference in the structure and the professionalism of the wrestling on this show and the wrestling on the other show. It's like
1,000%.
It's weird how you got a lot of the guys, the same performers that performed in the Fed, in the WWE, and then they're working on AEW, and it's like, guys, you're working like indie guys. You're not covering your track. It's like they cover everything here, So, okay, so this was good too. Edge stood in the ring with his special lighting while the broadcast team worked in a quick plug for next week's show. He started his promo saying he's an honest man. Edge said he didn't expect Damian Priest to appear at WrestleMania. Said it makes perfect sense if you stop and think about it. And Edge said thinking is hard for AJ and the fans. And Edge said Priest fought his inner self just like he did. He said Priest tried to be an upstanding role model for the fans just as he did. Edge demanded the fans rise for the man who will be the punishment for the guilty. That's actually a pretty good line. Priest made his entrance dressed in a black suit and joined Edge in the ring. Edge asked Priest what it was that caused him to take his career back at WrestleMania. And Priest said, it goes without saying how much Edge has meant to him for a very long time. Priest said that when Edge was speaking to Styles, it felt like he was speaking directly to him. He said that's what made it an easy decision for him to pledge himself to Edge, who said it was the best decision of his life. Edge said it was a coincidence that the night he stopped caring what the sheep think, it's the same night the Priest took the power back. Edge said they will pass judgment on anyone who challenges my message, our message. Edge says he knows AJ Styles will keep coming. He said he said pit bulls lack intellect and that they only know fight and they don't know flight. Edge said Styles has to think of his family and his children. AJ Styles made his entrance and Priest left the ring and tried to fight Styles, who quickly dumped over the ringside barricade, and Styles entered the ring and got the better of Edge. Styles grabbed a pair of chairs and brought him inside the ring, and Priest returned and put Styles down and then kicked him repeatedly in the corner, and Priest picked up Styles. Edge speared Styles while Priest simultaneously slipped the legs of Styles with a kick, but Priest never even came close to Styles' legs, and Edge set up for Concerto, but producers Jamie Noble and Sean DeVore and multiple referees ran out and saved him. I just read that to you, right? You heard this promo, right?
Right.
And we were talking with Billy about how Edge is very structured and the way he does in OCD, very attention to detail. Bro, I just read this to you. You could go back and read this promo. This is character development. He's telling them, okay, this is what we are going to be doing. This is why we want to be doing this. Is what he defined their characters with very specific purpose in a 3-4 minute interview here. You know, I didn't just say, oh yeah, well, we want those belts. We're going like these generic promos where you got to match against a guy. I'm going to beat you 1, 2, 3. It's like that means nothing.
Right.
He was very cerebral here in what he was saying with what the two of them together are going to be doing from now on. I thought this was really good. You know.
Right. So I thought this was a good promo by Edge, not so good by Damian. And Damian usually does good promos, but they gave him bad material. I like when the people started to chant to him, "We don't care." And I also like when Edge called them losers and the fans are chanting, "We are losers." Like they were there to have a good time.
Right.
And I like the beatdown on AJ Styles. I like the partnership between them two. This was very well done.
Yeah. So the Street Profits, Wrestle Alpha Academy, was this for a shot at the titles, by the way? Like I imagine this match is for whoever wins this gets a shot at the title, because I don't know what the purpose of like having this. These two guys just got beat. You know, these two teams got beat by Riddle and Orton.
Well, the guy came out, Adam Pearce, and he made it a Texas Tornado tag team match, which means you don't have to tag. They should have just called it a Lucha Rules match. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. That was basically it. I don't think it was for the titles or anything like that. But I will say this. I don't think there's anybody in WWE and maybe even AEW more athletic than Montez Ford, except for maybe Ricochet. That guy's incredible.
Reigns comes out. So he comes up with the bloodline. He says, I know what you want. We all know why you're here, but we're going to switch it up a little bit. Reigns asked Heyman to explain the bloodline success, and Haynes went over all their accolades and everything they've been doing and everybody they've been beating, right? Heyman listed Roman's main event box office accomplishments and said there was a 58% increase for WrestleMania viewership on Peacock compared to last year. And he introduced him as the single biggest star in sports entertainment and said it is undisputed. Reigns said what's good for him is good for WWE. He said the billion-dollar deals are coming easy with him as champion. Reigns said he's the last needle mover because he's constantly operating in God mode. Reigns also said he's a man of his word and that he called his shot and delivered what he said he would smash Brock Lesnar, and Reigns said that's the past. He said other men would hang their hat on this weekend, but he's never content. Reigns said he's a progressive tribal chief, and he said they would let everyone know what the next step is on Friday SmackDown. Reigns told the Dallas crowd to acknowledge him, and the bloodline posed in the ring to close the show. That's kind of weird.
I thought this was a terrible way to end the show. It was not interesting. And here's another thing. Especially after WrestleMania was anticlimactic, okay? Especially after the go home SmackDown was very anticlimactic. Mm-hmm. Also, we had been promised that this Monday Night Raw was going to be like one of those special ones where you'd see a lot of surprises. There were no call-ups. The only good thing on the whole show was Cody.
And look at the out on that segment. Yeah, shook hands, walked out of the ring. Kevin Owens just leaves the ring.
Yeah.
The bloodline, they come out. Hey, here we are.
Right.
Segment's over.
You know,
it's like
what I felt? This is what I felt. And this has happened to me before, but this is not the night to do it. They were burnt out from WrestleMania 1 and WrestleMania 2, and they just put on you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you needed that WrestleMania, a lot of people are watching, and you needed to really put a maximum effort. And then if you want, maybe next week you can take the week off. But this was not the week this was not the day to take it off. You should have had a whole bunch of surprises and kept people hooked.
Right. Hook them with storytelling and episodic.
Right.
Like, okay, what's
you already had them for WrestleMania, right?
No lie. Coming out of this, these are the only angles that were like forwarded for next week. Is Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan are arguing with each other and stuff like that, but they got a title match. Nobody cares, right?
Right.
Braun Breaker won the title, but that's NXT, so he's going back to that show. It's like, Carmella and Zelina are breaking up. Nobody gives a Elias is Ezekiel now, but he doesn't really have any heat with anybody.
Not a big deal.
Because Owen just basically, honestly, like you laid the groundwork for Ezekiel versus Owens coming out of this. And then everything else. Okay, Veer debuted, but he's like, okay,
nothing big.
The Mysterios for no reason whatsoever. You have no idea why he attacked them.
Right.
And it's like
the MVP thing with Lashley. That's about it. And
that's it. Yeah. So Cody doesn't really have a storyline. Okay, unless they're going back to Rollins. Owens doesn't have a storyline. He just went with thing, and Reigns doesn't have a storyline. What's the Reigns storyline? There's nothing. He just basically cut a promo and basically put himself over.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, this was a very underwhelming after WrestleMania show when they should have really gone out there and been full of surprises, a couple call-ups. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I give this show a thumbs down. Boom.
Right. Yeah, because usually like they have a surprise call, like somebody comes up, but they were
nothing.
They were basically promoting, advertising Veer for like 6 weeks, so there was no like surprise.
He was brutal, and he was brutal.
Yeah,
bro. I mean, bro, you had 2 great WrestleManias. You should have capitalized on that. You had a lot of people that were watching this show, waiting to see what was next, and you really didn't give them anything. So, even though the show has been getting better, this was not a good show.